Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I'm doing Saturday's arm's length art, and I really wanted to get caught up on a few collage masterboards, only because I was running low and it's always nice to have them handy. So I figured I'd take you along with me and show you how I do this. I have a brown paper bag underneath here that I just tore a piece off of the bag. The rest of the bag is on the floor here, and hopefully I'll get to use this whole thing up. And I have a brand new magazine that I'm starting in today. And I have lots of book pages and scrappy bits of paper and odd pieces like this and some lined paper. And so I never do the front cover of the book because there's too much handling. And I like to leave the pages in here and continue working as I go along. So I have a little glue paper here magazine that I'm using. And I've already done one page, so I didn't do the cover because that's what I use to protect the book. I will eventually do it when I take it apart, because this is a heavier outside magazine cover. So when I do take it apart, I will do this one separately and use it up. But here is the first page, and I only thought of showing you how I do this after I did one. So I just start out by collaging different types of book pages. I don't care if they're modern books, if they're old books. I just want different font, different levels of color, different sizes of font. You know, for the most part, just a good variety of papers. You know, if you pick up 3 or 4 books at the thrift shop, you'll have in no time at all, a really nice selection. The only thing I do is, if I'm going to use books, I do look for content that might be a little cheesy, that I don't want to use in my collages, because those words always seem to show up when you've got a finished tag made. Those words come out, you know, and it's simple words. It's not always bad words. It's just simple situations where you know the content of the book. And so I try to avoid working in those kinds of books. Anything that is too, you know, politically incorrect, or you know, too far on the religious side. You know, some things are a little bit too much. And then also for, you know, the cheesy, you know, romantic content. We'll leave it at that. So when I'm doing them, I fill the whole page, and then I turn the page over and I start to collage right away on the back side. And as you can see here, I do not have straight lines, because I know when this gets cut up, it's going to look completely different. I don't care if the pages are the same or not. I just start gluing the back side until it's finished. And this way, when I do, after I decorate these, because I do a little bit of decorating as well once I get going, but once I cut them up, then the backs are already done. You know, it's easy. So I just work from this side now and just glue my pages down. I know that I'm going to sew on them eventually, so I'm not too concerned if I don't glue them down perfectly. But you know, once you cut them, you can also see where you've left off. You know, some places aren't glued and stuff. And, you know, it's amazing what a piece of paper or a piece of washi tape or something will do to fill it all in. And when I'm gluing, I like to use my glue cap to smooth out the edges of the paper. And I don't always tear them. Sometimes I tear them, sometimes I don't. This bag is in really rough shape, so I'm just letting it dictate itself when I tear off a piece. And even this little piece that's stuck on here, I use that. I don't care, as long as it's not super thick. I did take off one side of the bag to make sure that there was nothing too thick that was sticking out. And I just keep gluing and let it overlap a little bit. Now I've got a little bit of a space there, but it seems to me I did have a little tiny piece. When I get to it, I will. This is where they had overlapped a little bit. So, and I don't worry if I get glue on the outside. The glue dries clear. You don't see it, and it just kind of catches the edges anyway. So I'm fine with that. And if I have, you know, like at the end of this book page, it's a little bit kind of crusty. Does that make sense to you? Then I just take my ruler and just tear it off, or I tear it off by hand too. And this page is getting quite glued up, so it's time for me to turn it. And that is kind of my process. It's not, I think I'll go right to the end here. I don't worry if I go slightly over the page like I have here, because when I take them out, I do all the trimming first. And so this is getting quite glued up. Now I fold it in half. And because there's enough glue on there, it kind of glues it down for myself. So I just smooth out the glue in case there's any big blobs in there. Because when I've finished gluing on here, I will then fold this, trim them up nice. I will glue it again, and then it becomes a journal card base that I use. So I don't waste anything, and I do use all the scraps, all the little bits. Having said that, I got to turn this around. Lined pages are great to add onto journal cards on the back. You know, you get a few lines. I've done journal backs with just strips of paper, strips of book page, you know, the margin edges. Sometimes I will use those. It takes a little bit longer to do, to glue them down, but it's really effective when you cut them up and you have these lines of strips going across. But the only thing then is you have to know which direction you're going in. Not that it matters, but I do like to go, if I'm going to do strips, I like to go either all up and down or all across. And then when you cut your pieces up, you've got these lines just formed because of the paper, not because of actually drawing lines. So this got a little bit, this isn't too bad actually. I think I can get around that one. And yeah, any page that has a blank side on the back side or somewhere along the bottom, I will tear those off and keep them and use them in my book. Now I'm going to put this right along the top edge here. Ah, there's that little piece. Now, where was that spot? Oh, there it is. And it's always nice to fill in with, you know, strips of scrapbook paper or washi tape or whatever you have. And it's just a fun way to get rid of all that stuff, have a mindless method of doing collage and relaxing. And filling up pages. Although I've come to realize there is no shortage of this stuff. It's never going to go away. It's never going to end. There's just so much paper to be used. I don't think there's enough glue sticks in the world to work with all the paper we have. And we're supposed to be a paperless society now, but I don't see how that happens with all of these book pages and magazines that we still have to use up. So I have one spot here and one here, and then I'm done. So I've got, this was a piece of paper that I painted on. Let's start with this end. Oh, now I'm stuck to there. Okay. And I think I'll just stick that right there. So you can see I'm just filling in the holes. There's no rhyme or reason. Now, I don't like how this kind of actually overlapped there a little bit, so I'm just going to tear it away a little tiny bit. There we go. It's kind of too much of a straight edge. Although I don't mind straight edges, but it just looks so odd against that one. Partly because it was on an angle. Okay, I need one more piece, so I think I can put another piece of brown paper bag there. And that one will fit, so I'll just find my ruler. And hopefully I didn't cut off too much. I do like to overlap them. It just gives extra strength to the paper itself. And, oh yeah, I have a little bit of a hole here. Look at that, eh? A little extra glue. So I have a tiny little hole here. So let's see. I'm probably just going to put, there's a nice little spot right there. And then I will save the other one for the next little hole that comes along. Because it happens. And the fun part is when you cut these up and you see how the backs look. They are very interesting. It gives it kind of almost a tortoise shell effect with just plain paper on the back. So there's the back side done. And then I keep going and start my next one. Now, I don't add color right away. I kind of wait until I've done a few pages. But I think what I'll do is I'll do this one and then I'll work on some color with you. So I keep these margins on here as I'm collaging. I mean, if I need a little piece to fill in, I will come and find something that I can use. But because I don't know, when I start to play with this afterwards, I might want to put a piece of washi tape across here, or do some ink stamping. So I leave all this stuff on here. It just adds more interest and it allows you to create more opportunities of design. So I don't care if the lines are straight and square, as long as they're, you know, not crooked on purpose or by accident. I mean, it's different if it's on purpose that you're making things crooked. And I always seem to start on the edge here wherever I can, and along the bottoms. I kind of like to fill the outside edges and lines first. Now this is a piece of music sheet. Only so that it's just quicker to fill it in afterwards. Ooh, it's not coming off here. How come? There we go. And when you're using, you know, 3, 4, 5 different kinds of paper, I find if you start in one section, then by the time you get to the other end, you're not having to worry that the same papers are matching up. Not that it matters, because again, by the time you're finished collaging, you aren't going to see, you're not going to see that or notice that they're all matching up. Okay. I think that's enough glue on this one. So here again, this is what I do. I fold this over. And I just open it up again and put a little bit of glue on the inside just to close this magazine page up. So this now becomes the base for making a journal card. So let's make one since we've got it here. You know, I wish I could be this efficient all the time and get caught up. I have a tendency of putting them in a pile and then I have like 50 to do all at once. But since I've got it here, I'm just going to grab another book. And oh good, I've got some blank pages here. Oh, I've got lots. It's great. Oh, that never happens. Okay, so I have my magazine that's all folded up and glued. And we know this is not coming apart. It's got so much glue in it. So then I just take my glue stick and kind of find a, you know, a good centered spot. On the page. And then I will fold this over. Now, normally I cut this. I don't know if I can still do it or not. Forgot about that. If there's anything that's sticking out too much. And if I could be this efficient and do all of my magazine ends as soon as they are ready to go, I would be so happy with myself. Now this is another little piece that I will keep. And I'm just trimming that down as well. So it's kind of a never-ending process for as soon as you have a glue page done. Yeah, if I could be this efficient all the time, that would be great, but I tend to not do it, and I really should. Now, I don't mind if there's a large overlap onto the back, because that's where I'm going to add some type of paper to make a writing space. So now I just fold this part up and fold this part up. And then I trim it out by cutting out the corners. And then I tear this back. And I know, you know, it's kind of overkill, but it is, it does allow the corners to get done nicely. And I don't worry about, I just take away the bulk part of the paper. Even though it's glue, I glued it. It just makes it easier for me. It's faster. I don't have to think about it. And I know that there's no edges that are going to stick out. So then once I folded up that flap, just press it into place and then do the same thing on this side. And then, because I have this space here, I've got to fill it in with something. So I've got my brown paper bag here. And like I said, this was really a torn bag. I don't know what happened to it. I think it just took too much stress somewhere along the way. And because this is already blank on this side, I'm just going to fill it in with a little bit of this brown paper. It might be a little bit long. Just a tad long. Sticking to me. Make sure there's nothing written on the other side that and now I have a journal card base that is ready to go using the glue stick paper that I had worked on in my masterboard book. So now this will just get put aside, and when I cut up all these, I will do this at the same time and decorate it. But now I'm ready to continue on with my next page here, and so you can see I've already started gluing it up, but hopefully it'll last a little bit longer. And I got paper stuck to me. And I'm just going to take it right to the corner there. Now this magazine is about 9 inches by about 11 1/4, I think it was. No, 10.75. Yeah, 10. So it's not quite 11 inches. But I'll still get, 4 journal cards or maybe 6 tags, depending on how I cut it. Now this doesn't need very much. I like the writing on this side better, I think. Yeah. And this is how I do them. And I just keep going until the page is full. And turn it over and start another one. I don't necessarily work in direction because I find sometimes it looks nice when papers are going opposite directions. And I don't always tear them. I tear them in different sizes, different shapes, and then I worry about filling in the holes afterwards. I think I'm going to put this one up here. No, I'm going to stick it up here. I hope this isn't too boring to watch, but it gives you an idea of how I do things. I love watching Jennifer Dirtle when she does her digital collage sheets. Now somebody folded all these papers. I felt a lump a little while ago. They dog-eared different things that they liked. I pick up these magazines, either free or, when they have them 10 for $1 when you go to some garage sales. I don't spend a lot of money on magazines, and sometimes you can pick them up, pretty much for free. We have a thrift shop that gives magazines away for free. But yeah, somebody must have folded all those corners for some design ideas or something. Okay, so we've got that one down there. I didn't press it in place very good because of that corner sticking up. There's still some sticking up there, I think. I have to go and investigate a little bit more. All right. Got this one. And now this one's a little bit torn, so I'm just going to tear it off. It's pretty brittle paper. When I sit down to do something like this, I probably go through about 10 glue sticks in a session because I do a lot. I will try to do this whole magazine today, but I'm not sure if I'll get there or not with doing the video and then pausing to do some decorating. But I do try to do the whole magazine if possible. But this has got quite a few pages here, so I don't know how far I'll get now. It's got 98 on here, so that means there's got to be at least 50 pages in here, probably. Okay, so now what can I put in here? I can use this one, or maybe just continue down here. I think I'll do that. And as I said, I like to overlap just ever so slightly on the edge of the paper and then trim it afterwards. This way I'm not worried about where the edge is and taking the time to line things up. But I do need another different paper. I don't think I have very much music on here, no. So I can use some more music page. This piece of paper. And the reason this is in my pile is because when I was sorting through book pages to make some kits, these were pages that were torn, that were not that nice. So I'm going to put that right there. And I have this one here that I'm going to use, that little piece to fill in that gap. And sometimes, even though there's little creases in the paper, I will flatten it out. It just adds a little bit of interest as well to the page when there's some wrinkly bits. Unless it's really crusty. Like sometimes when you take them out of the books, part of the glue comes out. But yeah, if ever you want to watch somebody do glue book collage, do take the time to watch Jennifer Dirtle. I could sit and watch her for hours while I work on other projects. And she's fun to listen to. And then, you know, you get to see her method and her madness of how she does things. So, oh, too close to that one. I think I'll do something else. How about a piece of this? And I love watching her color combinations that she puts together too. Because she loves to work in very vibrant colors. I'm not so much. I like more subtle. But every once in a while I will, you know, do something like purple and orange together, or red and yellow and orange together. But she likes really bright colors, neons and that kind of stuff. Not my thing, but I still enjoy watching her put them together. And then she also picks such unusual items. Whereas I'm just making, bases for cards and tags. She's actually making her finished collage in her books. And she actually has books that are all blue, all green, all orange, and she will just pick a book and work in that book. Just amazing. The combinations of color that she puts together is it's just so scrumptious. And it's totally her thing, of course. Like I said, it's not something I would do with those colors, but I love the finished product that she makes. And then she's got quite an interesting sense of humor in her method of putting pages together, and what she puts with it, and what her story is behind those pages. I think this is where I was going, right? Yeah. So yeah, you do have to watch her. It just always amazes me how they come together so nicely. Okay, well now I need something else. I know I have, this is my book pages, so I know I have more stuff in here. Just gotta find something interesting like this one. See, these are all torn pages. That's why they come in this section. Here's some pieces. Like that. Now I'm not going to glue that part down because I think I'm going to look for something that will fit in there. And this is probably one of the very rare times when I leave a piece sticking up to put something underneath it. Some people, they will only glue the center of the page of any piece that they put down, which is very interesting. Another interesting method to doing this collage style of collage. They only put the glue down along the center, like in here, so that they can come along and put another piece underneath or another piece over top, and then they could go along and glue everything afterwards. But for me, to me, it takes too much time to do that. But it is a very interesting method of doing that, for sure. Now this one piece is pretty fragile underneath here. Okay, I need something to go there. Let's just run this music sheet right there. I'm going to cut this one because it's so fragile. Perfect. Oh, I did leave a little gap there. Oh, well, I don't think you'll notice it. Actually, we'll just put this right back. I tore it off and now I'm gluing it back down. Okay, so one little spot here. Will it work? Pretty tight. Okay, use this one. And I don't need very much, so I'll take that off. Okay, so now that I have this done, I'm ready to start and go by flipping the page and doing the brown paper bag and the blank papers on this side, and then starting another collage there. But to give you an idea of my method of how I collage and decorate these after, is I always say just put a bird, a butterfly, a label, and a flower, and you're done. And, you know, it can be a little piece of washi tape. It can be, so I'm going back to this page here. It can be a piece of washi tape. I think this must have been, I see. It looks like it was kind of glued wrong or something, because it's about a 1/4 inch shy of the other page. But I'll work without doing anything to that part. So yeah, I always decorate very basic, and I will start out with some scrapbook paper, something that's on my desk that needs to come off my desk. So let's see what I've got here. That's all my book pages, I think. Yeah, I think I accidentally moved this over. This should be in here. Okay, so I had some leftover scrapbook paper here from something that some offcuts. I'm going to use those on this page. It's all the same color. So this is just some scrappy bits that I have here, and I will continue to work in here today to finish this as part of my book pages and stuff that I'm going to put on here. But now I'm just going to either tear or cut. It's probably just as fast to fussy cut it. So it's almost like washi tape in a sense. And I'm just going to place it in different areas on the page. I don't worry about inking the edges on something like this because it's still in the stages where I'm going to be adding all kinds of stuff. So it's, you know, I can go back and just brush some ink on with one of my blenders. And so that is my process, is to use scrappy bits of paper on the book pages. But I will normally do this after I've done about, you know, at least a dozen pages. But just for the sake of this video, I'm showing you how I'm doing this now. Okay. So just putting some glue on one of them and just letting whatever happen. So I'm going to start here, I think, and I'm just going to cover up some of those extra lines that are showing through. Now, in this case, the flowers are directional. I don't remember what I was making that I cut off these odd pieces like this. It couldn't have been that long ago. They look reasonably like I've had them for a while. I think I'll put it there. Put it here. Again, it really doesn't matter because this is still part of the base. No, I'm going here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a real serious worker when I do this stuff, so it's not really easy for me to chit chat and do this because I normally do power through a lot of this. Don't really want to cover that up. I think I'll go here. So yeah, I haven't mastered the work and talk. I was actually just saying that to Caroline today. I said, how is it you can put together a folio in 30 minutes and be talking the whole time? I can't do that. I can either talk or work. I don't have the skill to do both. I can't walk and chew gum. I keep coming back. I don't want to cover that thing up. I don't know why, but yeah, I'll go there. Okay, so once I've got some basic scrapbook paper or color, really, it's just giving me a little bit of color on the page. then I go into and I just pick something. So in this case, I'm going to say butterflies because, well, you know, I have a lot of butterflies. And I will go through my butterfly bin here and just find things that I like that are lightweight, because I do have some butterflies that have some weight to them. I've got these. That might be cute, but then I have to fussy cut them. So if we can find something that's already done, like I've got this one. These are heavier cardstock, so they'll get used for something else. I think I'll use another one of these. I'm going to use that one with the broken wing, or the cut-off wing. Here's another one with a cut-off wing. There's another one with a cut-off wing. There's a whole one just in case. And then a cut-off wing. Oh, another one. And to show you why I've chosen those, I'm going to have an avalanche here soon. These butterflies are nice to put along the edge, you know, once I cut them out, or to have them down at the bottom of the page. So I'm just going to cut these out while you're here with me. Now, sometimes I fussy cut right to the edge, and sometimes I leave the border. It's kind of, I call it flavor of the month, because I change my mind all the time. Sometimes I keep the antennae, and sometimes I cut them off. And today it's going to be one of those days where I cut them off, only because you are watching. And I don't want to take up too much time. And when I fussy cut, I don't worry if I cut into the butterfly a little bit, because nobody's going to notice. And that white is so insignificant, I probably could have just left it. But okay, so I'm going to put that guy down here. I did have one that's cut out already, and I kept the antennae. So I'm going to put him up there. I've got another one with the wing is cut off, so I'm going to stick him up there. There's another whole one. And I've got another one here that's cut off. So that is how I'm going to place these butterflies, because that is going along the top. And same with that one. So I'm just going to use the 5 butterflies. Yeah, Caroline made this beautiful purple lilac folio. You have to check it out. It's just gorgeous. It's a kit that she's selling on her site, and it is just so vibrant. The color is so beautiful, and she just The only thing she did off of camera was she fussy cut out the pieces. And did some inking around the edges. But the rest of it she did on camera. So it's very quick to put together. And you have a lot of different options of how you put it together. She shows you several different ways. And then you have lots of ephemera in the kit that you don't even use the whole kit to make the folio and the stuff that goes inside of it. So it was pretty amazing. How quickly she put it together and how beautiful it was. Like, it's just gorgeous. So that gives you an idea. I think I'm not going to waste your time and show you all of the steps. But I will add these butterflies on. And that is kind of my method. When I say put a bird, a butterfly, a flower, or a label. You've got the background color. I'm adding the butterflies on here. I will show you. I'm going to stop the camera, do it, and then at the end of the video, you'll see everything glued down. And then I will leave it like this and only add other elements onto it once I've cut up the page. Maybe we can do that as well. I'll see how that works. But yeah, so stay tuned. I'm going to stop now, finish cutting these out and gluing them all down, and I'll be right back. Hi everyone, I'm back. So I fussy cut out those butterflies and got them all glued down. And you saw where I'd added the paper onto here. And I was going to tear this page out, cut it up, and start, doing something with it. But you know what? I really like to leave these in the book until the whole book is done. And then it's kind of it pushes me to get the book done. And then it's kind of fun to just say, okay, now all I have to do is cut these up and do the final decorating and stitch around them. So they will get left in here. I put these two because of the cut edge of the butterfly wing here. I put them at the top. So I will cut these sort of around there to make these into two pockets. This way I can make the little U cut in here, and it really doesn't take away much from the butterfly itself. They'll get decorated with, another label or, some kind of other element to put on the page. And then probably some lace and fabric bits and pieces and stuff, and stitched around, of course. And then these will be made into two very large tags. Now, it's a little overkill to put them in the same pockets with the same butterfly. So they may be used in the same project, but not necessarily together, because I wouldn't like to have a large tag like this in the matching. It's just too much for me. So yeah, and I may only use one pocket and one butterfly in a journal, and then these will get put aside for something else. But that's kind of how I'm going to leave it for now. I may add other things like flowers and stuff onto it yet, but this is how it's going to stay. So I have the back done on that one. And then this one, I just went ahead and put down some scrappy bits of paper on here over top of the book page. This is the book page that I did with you, I think. And these are, like, they go in my tray. It's all my leftover bits. And then I just start pulling stuff out and using it. And so this yellow part up here, this was a piece of the edge of some wrapping paper. And I had cut out, because this was the edge, they had all these little circles with flowers in them that I had cut out of the next row. And then the offcut is down here on the bottom from the other side. I think that's how it worked. Or maybe it was more of a long strip. I'm not sure. So I keep these things thinking that, well, maybe I'll use it someday, or, I just want a pop of color. So I just kind of pulled the corals and a little bit of oranges and yellows and greens to dress this page up. And then I fussy cut out these flowers while you weren't here. And so I'm just going to plop these in sort of in 4 spots, all going in the same direction, of course, and fill it in. So you can see how simple that is. And then this will then get cut into 4 or 6. I may go back and add more afterwards. I'm not sure, but I was just kind of pulling all this collaged papers together. So label, butterfly, bird, some stitching, some fabric stuff, and then they're done. And so I'm going to quickly glue those down while I've got you here, and you don't have a choice. You have to watch me glue them. And so, yeah, I just continue to work. Now, I don't normally do, like I said, a lot of decorating ahead of time. I may put scrappy paper bits down because I'm trying to empty some of these trays. But the actual decorating I usually don't do until I've got at least a dozen pages done. And then I do it because I'm bored of doing what I've been doing with just the plain paper. But it's just to help me see a dent in these trays to make them go down a little bit. So I don't know whether this will be a journal card. You know, I may end up with a scrap piece in between that I use for something else, like a belly band or something. It all depends on how I feel at the time. Now, some people, they take their collages and they turn them upside down and they whatever happens. It's a surprise. I don't usually do that. I like to kind of know what I'm going to do. But that's me. And it just helps me to have a plan because I'm going to use these right away in a project. And so I always have some type of a plan as to the colors and where they're going. Although color really doesn't matter to me because it's usually colors. Just to show you or tell you, this was the outside jacket of a book cover, like the I think this was the spine that I'm using here now. So I'm just going to overlap that there. And it just gives you that little bit of color and interest. We don't know quite what it is, but it's all been repurposed and reused. This one's sticking up a bit. Maybe I should go over all these. And then one last one here to glue. And I will continue working on this book. And then when I've got it done, I will probably do a video to show you the finished book and then start cutting it up so that you can see the finished pieces when they get cut up. So, you know, it's one of those things that I'll just keep working on. So that's as far as I'm going to go with this page now. I'm not doing anything more to that. I've already done the back of it. And in this case, I just had a little piece of blue paper. I don't know if you can see that in here. Yes, you can. And so that filled in the one little corner. And then I started another page and I just have to do the back side. I keep going like this right through. Sometimes I will leave a few pages just with the book paper, nothing else on it, because then I will cut it into strips and make washi tape, you know, faux washi, of course, and I will decorate it and ink stamp on it and do all kinds of things. So sometimes I don't always finish the pages, which is why I don't decorate them till towards the end, because it depends on what I need, what I'm running low of in my stash. You know, maybe I want to make this into all bookmarks. So then I would pre-cut them first and then decorate them afterwards, which is another thing, you know, why I don't like to do it where I don't know what's going to happen. But for the sake of this video, I again want to show you how I delve into my scraps here, and I just pick a color. You know, I did oranges and yellows there, and on the first page I just did the butterflies with that pinky color. But I've got this is packaging from some tatting, and it's in really rough shape here, but I can probably get that in here. So now I'm looking at what can I use that would be gold and black. I don't want to use this. This is plastic. I will probably use that for something else eventually. Let's see what else is in here. I've got this, has some black in it. Now I feel a little bit like Jennifer doing her stuff. This has got kind of black and gold, and there's gold on this side, so I like that. Here's some gold. And I've got a lot of this gray, but this I was testing something, and I will probably use the white side and just use it as backing eventually. Okay, what else have I got? This is kind of, well, it's kind of browny. A little too much for me. I have some of this matte tack. This would be fun in here, I think. because it's got the gold and the gray. And I don't worry about matching up with other projects that much, because most of the time I'm working in colors and designs that I would, work in anyway. And I always have at least one page in a journal. This is cardstock, so it's too heavy for this. Always have at least one page in a journal that is different than the main theme of the journal. It's the element of surprise that I like to put in journals on, if I'm just doing them to sell. Now this has got some images on it. That might actually be fun to add on. I can fussy cut those. And then this has got some black writing. I think that's more than enough for, unless I see something else that pops out at me. But, it just takes forever for these piles to go down. And as soon as I think, okay, well, I'm getting somewhere, I turn around and refill it with something that I've off-cut for something else. So it never seems to go down completely. Although this is in pretty good shape right now. I got some more backing paper here that I can use. Okay, I think that's about all I'm going to get out of there anyway in those colors. This would be more for the finishing part of it, but I think I will use this up in here. But this is just to give you an idea of how I would put all this in the book. I kind of want this to be part of a whole tag, so I'm going to stick that way, I think. And then this one is small enough that I can put it this way. So I think I'm making tags with these. And then this is sticky back-sided pieces. So I'm just going to cut off some strips to use sort of like a washi. I don't want to cut off a big piece of this. And that's a fun thing too. I bought this at the dollar store to cover a couple of boxes that I wanted to use. And the offcuts are perfect to turn into washi tape. So I'm going to just use those, I think. So that might be like that. And then this is a piece of paper that has, it's not torn, but it has, it's kind of heavier weight. Let's see, maybe I'll use this one first. Oh, that's pretty much the same. Cut it in half. And then this one, I think I'll use full over here. So again, I hope this is not too boring to watch. I can't imagine. Okay, I can go under here a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Maybe I'll go right there. So it's a little bit, you're using straight lines, but also torn bits. And then these things, I think I will just maybe tear some off here and there, but this actually looks like a lot. Maybe I'll just use this gold one. I'll put the black one back. I don't think I need it. But it has a perforated line here, so I'm just going to cut that. And then decide where this is going. Maybe rip the edges off of both sides here. So yeah, sometimes I find it hard to work in straight lines, and other times it just seems to flow very nicely. So there's no real rhyme or reason when I'm doing these. And usually, I'm doing this for the sake of the camera, but usually I just glue and then have regrets after. Because I don't normally do this much thinking on it. I just pull the colors together and I just start gluing. But I don't know how to fast forward it so you don't have to watch my process so much. But there, now I've got some basic color on here. I'd like to find something, maybe a little bit of that black. Maybe I'll take a little bit here. And maybe this one I will rip on both sides. And I think I'll just put it right there eventually, so that it shows up on both sides. And then I've got, I used a little piece of washi tape here to repair that paper, because when I went to put the next piece down, I ripped it. So I think I will use some more of this washi tape in other areas on here. So this is how it's going to get glued down. So you kind of have to figure out what you're working with and picking off. And because this is sticky tape, I'm just going to start here on the bottom. And if it comes up, I will glue it down, but I doubt it. This is like that matte tack stuff. So I know this is going to be kind of finishing here. So I'm going to glue these two down first. And this is why I say, like, I don't usually give it this much thought. Usually I just start gluing as I go along and building. But for the sake of this video, again, I'm just doing it this way so you can see how I do things. Now, I kind of wanted to keep this little advertisement here. This is the one that I tore. And that I'm just butting right up to there so that there's only one line that I'm dealing with. And then this one I want to get under that tatting sign, so I'm going to lift this up first and put this under it. Now, usually what I would do is I would just cut it to the length so that it wouldn't interfere with that. I would probably just cut it, just below this ragged edge, because I really want the raggy edge of this. But in this case, because I have a plan, I will just leave it underneath here. Okay, so I've got this bottom corner done. I'm just going to do that one. So I hope this is giving you some insight to how I do this, and if maybe it'll help you to collage as well. And then I had this piece to go right across here. And I've got that facing the right way. Yes, I do. We all have our methods to our madness, but sometimes when you can see other people's ideas, you go, okay, well, that can work for me, or no, that would never work for me. And these colors, now that I see them together like this, it right away makes me think of bees. So I may have to go and find some die cuts of bees. I don't think I have much, maybe a couple, that's about it. And I'd like actually something quite large, substantial to put on here. So it might be bees, only because of the colors. And that's why I don't like to make that decision until I know sort of where I'm going with it. And, you know, once you cut these pieces up, they take on a whole new life. And, you know, some of this will be so insignificant by the time I'm done that you'll be like, yeah, why did we even bother, right? So it's always interesting in the end. But I promise I will not take these books apart until I have them done, and then I can show you the whole thing. Yeah, I'm thinking bees on here now. And you can see I'm not going and inking every single thing. I will just wait until the end and do kind of a distress inking on, you know, the whole card or just on the edge of the card. And sometimes I really don't care for inking either. You know, like I said, it's flavor of the month for me. It depends on what I'm working on at the time. And okay, go put this one down. I don't know the song, but somebody wrote the words to a song on this piece of paper, I think. And, you know, I didn't get the whole gist of what it is, but I like this Love Alone. Don't quite know what that is in reference to, but it wasn't a complete paper, so I don't know where the rest of it went, or if I had the rest of it. Sometimes I get things from people, you know, that I'm not sure. I'm going to take these two pieces apart. I think that'll make it easier to glue them. But this is the kind of, oh, you can see I've been working for a while, right? But this is the kind of fodder that I like to work with, these very fragile pieces. You know, it just gives you a little bit of information. Like there's this gold seal here in the corner. It says 3 yards. Then here you see edgings, and then you get the full one on this side, but this is going to be a completely separate piece. But it just ties all of this together. And so yeah, I never throw this stuff out. I do use it relatively quickly, though, so I don't have a stockpile of this torn stuff. Unless it's something that I'm really keeping for a project. There. That's kind of crooked, isn't it? I'm going to end up tearing it more. And then I'll glue this one. So yes, I keep all of those little bits and pieces. I also keep the little labels that are on sewing these things. I will try to take the price tag off of it, but I do keep those labels, and I use them in projects like this too. So quite often you'll see these things floating around on my desk because I've just taken it off, and then I keep moving it. And I'm supposed to keep these books handy to turn around and put those pieces in right away, but I don't always have one handy. Now that was really crooked. Here we go. At least I was able to move it. I left the space there on purpose, just to show the break in it. Yeah, since I've moved my desk stuff around here, I have not been able to get organized. I have not been able to get this pile down to a reasonable pile. So I think I have to do some shifting again and rearranging again. Okay, this one I can just peel and stick. Maybe. So yeah, if you're at the dollar store, they don't have the greatest colors, you know, because it's like a kitchen matte top, but it's not shiny, but it is plasticky. But it really makes fun washi tape, and some of them you can actually see through them. And I will butt that up there. And this, butting it up with a torn edge just gives it less of that straight line look, less geometric looking. It just softens the lines a little bit. But I'm not one of those people to sit there and tear every single piece of paper. I used to, but again, it's done or perfect is sometimes is my motto. You know, I question done or perfect. And in this case, it's going to be done, sort of, but now I really see, I just have to put that one piece down, but I really see the possibility of bees on here. So I'm going to put this back because this doesn't appeal to me anymore. Although, you know, maybe I'll just clip it in here. I have to do the other side of it, but maybe I'll just leave it sitting in here anyway, and then I can decide later on. Okay, I think I can squeeze this one out of here and get this one glued. And then I will have one more journal card base to work on. While you were away, I did one more, so I do have 2 of these to do. Okay, so I think if I stuck that right there, and it might look a little bit crooked, but I think my paper's crooked up here too. It's actually not bad. Okay, so that is my next collage sheet masterboard. I have to do the back side of it yet. And then I will put this paper in here to maybe consider using. But for some reason, I just look at this and I see bees. I don't know why. So maybe some bees and some sort of mustard colored flowers would be something that I would add on here, or some black and gold flowers. That would be about it. So that's kind of where I'm thinking. But I will leave this tucked in here anyway. So yeah, I've got that done. This has the flowers glued down. You know, it's just funny to see the contrast, isn't it? You know, you go from one style to the next. Although she would be really cute in here where it says edgings. So I don't know. We'll keep thinking on it. And then, you know, here again, a different look, right? So this is how I work. I work in these books, and it's just a fun way to clear off stuff on my desk. But this was a lot of clearing off my desk. There are just tons and tons of pages here. The other thing I should tell you is I do look for pages where I might want to cut something out, and then I will cut that page short. Or I will, you know, if it's something on this side, I will do a half page because I've done that many times. Or, you know, sometimes you just tear out a page because there's something important here, like daring happiness. That's kind of a fun play of words that I would use. So whether I just cut out that piece or cut it out and patch the paper. That's another thing I can do, is patch the paper and then put it back in as part of the decoration. So yeah, that's kind of my thought. I don't cut out pictures that often, very seldom. I don't think, you know, we could go through here. I don't think I would find much that I would find interesting to cut out. Although I like the words velvet touch, timeless design. So yeah, there might be some words, but that's about it. Nothing like this appeals to me as far as cutting it out. But that's it. That's all I'm showing you for today. I hope you got something out of this, and maybe you'll start your own masterboard book. And let me know in the comments below what you think. And I promise, I will not take this book apart until I've got all the pages done, and I will do it with you. And we will do a flip through the book first and then take it apart and start making stuff with it. But if I get all of this done, there's about 50 pages here. So 50 times a minimum of 4. That's 200 pieces of ephemera out of one book. If there, I'm pretty sure there must be 50 pages, so pretty sure. That's it. That's all. I wish you all a creative week, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye for now.